compulsory voting. Compulsory voting would be good because theoretically you'll get 100% turnout. It'll force people to think about certain political issues and thus educate themselves. And it means that the results of any like election or referendum would have more legitimacy because theoretically 100% of people voted. I say theoretically because not everyone will always vote. You will have maybe 99%, maybe 98%, but some people will be ill, some people will be at work, some people, etc. There's negatives to compulsory voting because it abuses people's freedom. So where's the freedom in our democracy if you're forcing people to do something? It could potentially increase votes of fatigue, and that means people just vote because they have to, and they don't care who. So that means that the result doesn't actually reflect the wishes of the people. And also, it could increase apathy. Obviously, it means people just don't care anymore. Another way of improving political participation would be to adopt citizenship education. So the idea is that, like in the GCSE, you'd have to take a citizenship class, and that's important because it could motivate people to participate in politics by educating them, and it just improves political knowledge in the youth, which again is the voting group which is least likely to vote. I mean, of course, from 18 to 25. Negatives of that would be that it's expensive to enforce, and it actually could in turn create more voter apathy because children don't want to hear about politics. People don't care about politics. They'll just hear it and think of it again as something even more negative than it already is to them. In order to increase voting turnout, we can introduce votes at 16. So it would mean that votes have, again, more legitimacy. It could make young people politically aware, and it would make political education more relevant. You could potentially, though, in a negative way, you could mean that you could have more uneducated votes because the youth actually tends to be more extremist when it comes to politics. And it could also decrease voter turnout because, again, that 18 to 25 age group is the least likely to vote. So you could potentially have an even lower turnout, meaning less legitimacy. But it's important to note that, like, in the Scottish referendum, 16-year-olds were allowed to vote, and the referendum turnout was still 80%, I believe. The last way we could improve political participation in the United Kingdom is by introducing a higher degree of e-democracy. E-democracy is kind of hard to understand, but basically it means that people have access to the government or to information or to participating in politics through the internet. For instance, Arizona, in their primaries at least, they experimented with electronic voting through emails. And you could argue that by allowing people to vote on the internet, it increases voting turnout because it means more people have the opportunity to vote. And it means that potentially it would have a more direct democracy because people can constantly be asked certain political questions. It could increase turnout, like I just said, and it can make political and independent information even more relevant through social media. The negatives would be that an e-democracy is actually vulnerable to fraud and to hacking. So, like when the Russians supposedly hacked the Democrats' accounts and made them release information or release propaganda that was actually for the Republicans, you could say that that is because of e-democracy. It means that we can spread even more false information. And there are also people who actually have a lack of technical knowledge and technical access. So there could be people who, maybe like the older population, who is more likely to vote, but then are not aware how to use computers or are not interested in using computers. So it could be useless to them. And also there's people who live maybe in the countryside who have slow internet access, or maybe people who are not as economically, resourced as some of the people, so they don't have a computer or whatever that to use that with. So yeah, these are all reasons for and against these ways of increasing political participation. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope that you like this. If you haven't seen my European referendum rant, don't watch it. God, don't, because like it's just cringy for me to watch.